So I'm Sarah Compton. I'm occupational therapist by training, and I'm a therapy lead on Iris Ward, which is up at the Clatterbridge Cancer Centre, part of the intermediate care transfer to assess service. The more I talk to people, the more I did realise that actually we do have a shared vision. We have got the same goals and aspirations for the ward. The wards up at Clatterbridge are quite a new thing. I was previously working out in the private nursing homes. That's where we provided our intermediate care service. So a very new service, a lot of new staff. So it felt like we needed to come together more to collaborate, to establish a shared vision, a shared idea of how the service should run and what our common aims and goals were. So the wards are going to be accredited against what are national standards of care, which is great, but the actual framework itself is very sort of nurse-led and very nurse-focused. It's been developed, I think, in the acute sector, and I didn't feel it really reflected the ethos of our wards, which is about therapy-led care, about rehabilitation, about providing a holistic assessment and interventions for the patients that we're working with who have stepped down from the acute trust. So the idea was to develop this tool, take the tool, standards as they are, and develop them so that they reflected more the ethos of the ward. And at the time I felt I needed to do something about the sort of situation, and it seemed like a good way of doing that, sort of, you know, something that would give some focus and structure to trying to build that greater collaborative working between the nursing staff, the therapists, the care staff, etc. It sort of gave me the confidence to start talking to other people, so whether it was the nursing leads or the therapists, care staff, just to start to get a feel for their ideas of how we could work more collaboratively. And it just gave me the confidence to do that, I think, and feel more of a conviction towards this particular project. So that was good. That was a really positive sort of push towards continuing with the project. The main addition to the tool has been developing the falls domain. Falls are a big issue on our wards. A real sort of local priority is to try and reduce the number of falls that people experience on the wards. So it seemed to me to make a lot of sense to actually have a falls domain within the accreditation tool. And that's been my starting point, developing that domain by collaborating with our social care staff, nursing staff, and other people in the organisation who've got an interest in falls. And that domain is now part of the accreditation tool, so we will be measuring the ward against those standards in the accreditation in a couple of weeks. Hopefully it will help to promote a better understanding of why falls happen, but also what measures can be put in place to reduce falls. But also, even more importantly, I think putting the patient at the centre of all those measures that are put into place, because I think that's something that's been a bit missing. You know, we tend to put the measures in place to reduce the risk without really involving the patient themselves. And so hopefully this domain will help us to develop that more patient-centred, person-centred approach to falls management. I'd say definitely get involved in the QI project programme, because it will give you lots of tools that are very helpful in trying to develop your project, to try and help understand maybe who you need to go to collaborate with. And collaboration, I think, is perhaps the biggest thing. Being able to go to, talk to other people about it, find other people who've got an interest, a shared interest, who can give you some support, who are happy to work with you, even in small ways, to further your project. Stuck with it, that I've been able to approach people and get people on board with the project. I think the fact that the falls domain is actually part of the accreditation is actually a measure of some success, that I've managed to win people over, convince them that actually it's an important thing to have in there. So I'm proud of that. Also, just presenting the poster last week was quite nerve-wracking, but actually I felt a real sense of achievement there as well. I'm just sitting here now as well. Never thought I'd be doing this. Yeah.